All right, another late episode. I don't know if you guys, if anyone really expects these to come out Thursday mornings. I do want to release them every Thursday. However, just wasn't sure I was even going to do this episode because I was feeling under the weather. I don't know what hit me. Maybe it was just a lot of things catching up with me. I had been prepping for a deadlift for charity on top of doing things for this channel, being highly motivated and working myself to the point of exhaustion, I guess, on top of cutting. So I've been upping the amount of times I've been working out. I have a home gym, so I've been doing accessory work, working on things like snatches, cleans, a bunch of stuff that I suck at. And this episode is going to be about fat loss, but the cutting, I think it really screws with the performance aspect. I had upped my amount that I was working out, but I wasn't cutting, or I guess I wasn't adjusting the calories properly. So I was eating about 2,800 calories a day. My maintenance calories is probably around 3,200. So I was in that neighborhood of 400 to 500. You don't want to do any more caloric deficit than that because it could just lead to issues like fatigue, like I was doing. So I was probably burning closer to maybe 36, and I was at I was probably at like an 800 caloric deficit, which isn't good. Or I just caught some sort of bug. I don't know. A lot of things led up and caught up to me, and I've spent the last 2 days doing absolutely nothing. I was working my day job. I work remote, so I was keeping up with emails and stuff like that. So it wasn't fully letting go and allowing myself to rest mentally, but physically I was making sure I wasn't doing anything, as much as I absolutely hate doing that. But you need it. Rest is important. I'm not trying to be a professional games athlete or anything. I just trying to be overall fit. And when motivation hits me, I go balls to the wall. I go all out. But what I did do, so to keep myself occupied, because I kept, no joke in my head, this is the bad thing about having a home gym, is I'm not going to drive to the gym if I'm not feeling well, but I have a home gym. So I'm thinking maybe if I don't push myself too hard, I can go in and knock out some snatches or hit the bench press or do a little bodybuilding maybe. But thankfully there's people in my life that are just like, you need to calm down and just let yourself rest. I was like, okay, so what the hell am I going to do to occupy my time? I'm working on a supplement series that's going to be coming out of using my biochemistry background and figuring out ways to kind of get rid of the bullshit of what's out there in terms of supplements. But again, it wasn't allowing myself to fully rest. So I'm going to work on that. My next video is going to be out on pre-workout supplements, or as clinically as they're clinically named, multi-ingredient pre-workout supplementation. MIPS is their abbreviation. A lot of clinical trials and clinical studies, published literature. I was like, okay, I just need to watch something to let my mind go numb. Got kind of in the mood. Went back, listened to a podcast episode of Matt Frazier on the Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe Rogan mentioned he watched The Fittest. I had never actually watched The Fittest documentary of the 2020 or 2019 CrossFit Games. So I went back, I watched that, and then I went down this rabbit hole. I watched The Fittest in Dubai. I watched Resurgence, which just came out. That was the 2020 games, of going through all the stuff of COVID and the removal of Greg Glassman from the CrossFit scene because of, he was just a piece of shit. And figuring out ways to do it, and then Matt Frazier's fifth win. And then I went back and watched some old stuff, and I started seeing a couple guys, Heber Cannon and Marsden Sawyer, I believe that's his name, the Buttery brothers, who got fired from CrossFit, started up their own thing, and I was like, I really need to give these guys a second shot because I love their documentaries, and they have an awesome YouTube series. And I just shot a vlog on Whoop. They're sponsored by Whoop, but it was more so I realized how difficult shooting a vlog actually is. There has to be some theme of storytelling and putting it together and piecing it together. For mine, it was just here's where I wake up, and there was an ending of where I go to bed and end the day, and in the middle, the apex is building up my strength through my workout. When I shoot my videos, a majority of the work is done up front of the research. Like I would say the amount I probably dedicate more time overall per video of the research, like the beginning to end, just because I have to read and research a lot of stuff. They're shooting a lot of stuff, and I'm sure in their head they've already got the storyboard laid out. They know what it's going to be about. They've got sponsors that they're very fortunate to have, that they've definitely earned, that they need to be plugged in, and then they got to edit everything. And the amount of lack of sleep, especially during something like the CrossFit Games that they get, is insanity. And it's something like I go back and watch some old Casey Neistat videos of his vlogs and how long he went of vlogging and shooting and always having your camera, because that was the one thing I kept thinking about as I was vlogging, doing the Whoop stuff, is constantly having my camera on and speaking to it. Am I talking too long? Is this interesting? Am I getting to the main core of the message? Did I cover everything? Because I didn't cover everything that I would like to in that. It's just, this is off the cuff kind of things that I'm just talking about. So I was super impressed, and I gained a lot of empathy for what it is that the Buttery Bros do in their vlogs. And on top of that, as I kept as you connect the episodes together, you can see how their lack of sleep adds up. They're traveling around the world, and what they're doing on top of it, that I'm doing with my content, is they're spreading the love for fitness. This is going to be more about fat loss at the end. I've got a couple things I want to talk about beforehand, but your life doesn't have to be miserable because you want to be fit. I think that's a big thing that people miss. You know, if you want to be fit, you want to be thinner, there's macros that you can keep track of. There's quality macros. Don't eat fried foods every day. But like the Buttery Bros videos is they eat pancakes. They eat a lot of pancakes, but they work their ass off. They talk about their strain. They talk about their caloric expenditure. And they really push of the functional fitness, and the cross-training community really comes together, how much fun it is, and that their life can be fun and they can be fit. Because the dudes, I mean, you can see if the evolution of their body types as they get more into it is that they get pretty damn strong and fit, which is awesome, and they just make it fun. They eat the pancakes, and people are like, how can you eat that stuff and still be thinny? Because it's about a caloric deficit. It's not about having to eat broccoli and rice and chicken breasts all the time, because I tell you, if that is what was required, I would be gargantuan. Like I would be 500 pounds, because that's not it at all. I thoroughly enjoy myself. I've gone through 2 cuts now, but I don't stop myself from enjoying life. Like I work out and I bust my ass so I can have a overall better quality of life, if that also includes eating things. Because there's a project that I want to work on and add to the amount of content that I'm creating. And I created the Instagram already called Barbell and Barbecue, because I love barbecue. I love making my own barbecue on my Traeger, and I love going to barbecue places. And now that I'm in Austin, Texas, there is no shortage of awesome barbecue. So I want to bring that kind of evolution and joy of how you can be fit, how you can be ripped, how you can be super functional, how you can do whatever you want, go climb a freaking mountain like I did, and on top of that, eat a 3-pound beef rib or something, because it's not going to screw your body up, and just kind of illustrate that. It's about earning and rewarding through the whole process, which is awesome. And that's exactly what the Buttery Bros do in their videos, and that's what I take out of it. And I think a lot of people are inspired by what they do and how much fun they have. They're a couple of goofy guys. I don't know them personally, but I can only imagine, based on people's reception of them when they show up to a box and these serious CrossFit Games athletes, or they're focused on their training, that they're welcoming them with open arms, which is awesome. You can tell a lot by that. Doesn't seem fake, because that's also what's great about content creators on YouTube, is how genuine can that person be. They seem to get along with everybody. So if you haven't watched their series and you want a little motivation too, it's fun, and I think it'll motivate you to work out and get to the gym. I know as much as I've had to rest and relax, all I want to do is go work out now after watching their documentary series and their YouTube series. So Shout out to the Buttery Bros. Love, and I love what they're doing, and I'd like to meet them sometime. It'd be really great. Next topic of conversation, also related to CrossFit, is NoBull. Now, I have a fairly decently performing video out there regarding who NoBull is, what their shoes are, and all that good stuff. Now, there's a YouTube gentleman named Zach Tellender on YouTube. I don't know why I said that twice, just because I'm talking. Anyway, he focuses a lot and does these really great videos breaking down people's form of their Olympic lifts. He's an experienced Olympic weightlifter, and I find his videos to be incredibly entertaining and informative. So I watched him, and I was watching through a series because, I'm trying to get better at snatches and stuff. Like, I'm a strong dude. I just did the deadlift for charity. By the way, thank you so much to everyone that donated. Gave away 2 whoops to 2 new members to the platform. I can't wait to get their feedback and their experience on the platform. I love it, love it, love it so much. But I deadlifted 575 pounds. I was feeling like that was kind of the beginning of my exhaustion and not feeling well. So I was super surprised. It was a 10-pound PR. Got some hate online for not setting the bar back down. Whatever. It was for charity. If you want me to do a powerlifting meet, then do the powerlifting rules. I'll obey by the rules. Whatever. It was just lift the weight, put it back down. So on his YouTube, Zach Tellender, and I noticed a video. I wonder if I can pull it up. Let me see. Sorry. One day I'm going to figure out the best way to do this whole process. I'm actually going to look to buy some stuff to make changing things a lot easier for me, since I'm producing and talking on the podcast at the same time. And then I want to get this all polished out too before I start having guests, which eventually would happen. Okay. So he has a video that he's put 6 months ago with 36,000 views called "The Problem with NoBull and the Idea Economy." He's got a thumbnail, has an X around NoBull and says "Yes Bull." His thumbnail doesn't really capture exactly what happened. See, hopefully this doesn't play. I'm going to click on it because I need to get the gentleman's name. Let's see. Okay. Boom, boom. I don't know where the comment went. Oh, okay. So the gentleman, Adam Shiner, had created the short film called "The Artist and the Olympian." And I'll put links in the description of the show notes to these 2 videos, and would like your opinion on it too. So this came out. NoBull had an ad campaign that came out it's been a couple years now, but this is the first I'm hearing about it, which doesn't make it any more or any less egregious or of an offense, in my opinion. So Adam Shiner created this little short film, about 8 minutes long, called "The Artist and the Olympian," and it was a comparison between an artist and a Olympic weightlifter, and how perfect and how much they critique themselves and how much artistry there is in both aspects. That came out quite a while ago. Let me see. I'm going to click it. It was featuring Donnie Schenkel, a former Olympian. So that was posted on YouTube in 2013. NoBull came out with an ad campaign for their Speckle trainers in 2019. And it's about it's less than 2 minutes of another short film, and that shows an average CrossFit female athlete in her garage in comparison to someone who's an artist creating pottery. The main core and the message and some of the sequences are exact. There is no question about how much plagiarism is going on between the NoBull short film and the Artist and the Olympian short film. And it makes you scratch your head. I have not seen any sort of public statement created by NoBull Like, I haven't seen anybody else talk about this. I've Googled it and stuff. Zach Tellender's the first one that I saw actually post about it, and that was only 6 months ago. We're talking a couple years now since NoBull had released this Speckle Trainer video. And so that got me curious. I sent to what is notorious for being a bad customer service line of NoBull, hey, do you have any comment on this? I've been made aware of this. Would just like to know why there was no public statement. Now, there could be some things where NoBull actually used a third party, someone outside of their organization, no one that's actually employed as a W-2 employee by NoBull created this thing. And they commissioned it, got it back, and had no idea what the artist in the Olympian is. That could be the innocent mistake. But I find it hard to believe that it hasn't been brought to their attention since then, and why no public statement has been made or any apology statement or anything else like that, because as someone who studied intellectual property, patents, copyrights, and trademarks in law school, worked in a law firm practicing it, and also is now a content creator, I have a lot of empathy and sympathy for people creating things. Like, I worked for a startup firm, so I was experienced in working with people that created something and it was their baby, it was their child. Unless you do it and see it ripped off, you would have no idea how that could feel, how your intellect, the property coming from your intellect, is stolen from you and monetized, in this case, heavily, because it is a beautiful story and awesome, otherwise something I wouldn't think of, between someone who's perfecting their craft in Olympic lifting and someone who's perfecting their craft in some sort of artistry that is just blatantly ripped off. There's no way. Now, in the copyright world, something can not be infringement if two people separately can come up with similar works, and it can be proven that they didn't copy off one another. Like, if I remember, like, the biggest example that we talked about in my copyright class was, if someone in Africa and someone in Europe individually, word for word, at the same time, with no proof of ever connecting, wrote Moby Dick, then they each would have ownership in that work of art and there would be no infringement. We're talking 6-year difference here. I find it hard to believe that someone it could be innocent. And that happens too. There are cases of people ripping off songs from one another where it was just innocent. A melody got stuck in their head. They don't know where it came from. And then they used that. They monetized it. But then they were taken to court and they lost. Because then it was proven that they found out, like, they came up with it because somewhere down the grapevine, they were exposed to it. That's got to be what happened here. I just don't know. I don't know what you would do to make someone whole. Maybe whatever was paid to this agency is paid to the artist in the Olympian. I don't know how much direct sales could be resulted from the plagiarism that NoBull had. There are things as it's called nominal damages, where the court can state and find, like jury or court in general can find that there is some wrongdoing, but nominal damages will be awarded of like $1. So it's like, yes, they were wrong, but we can't figure out exactly what your damages are, which would also be devastating. It's just, I'm sure that the artist would just like some sort of acceptance of the infringement, and I would like to have an answer too, to figure out what's going on, just because I have a lot of empathy for content creators and just people that are creating in general. So until then, I've shelved anything with NoBull on it. Not that they're going to give a crap. I mean, they're growing at a very rapid rate. They just sponsored the CrossFit Games. No telling how much they're going to get from that. It's just, but I'm going to keep pestering them until I get an answer and go up the chain and try to figure it out. So I just want to make that something clear. And maybe it's not that big a deal. I don't find that this infringement overall has any sort of reflection in the quality of their products. The quality of their products is becoming under question as of late. I think they're maybe expanding too big, is what I'm thinking. And the quality control is getting out of control, or there's knockoffs, or their manufacturing process. I don't know. I don't know what the big deal is, but I'm also having issues with their customer service as well. So I just want to put that out there too. All right, so now for the main focus of this episode, fat loss. I just posted, actually hours ago, my end of my second cut. And I want to, hold on. I don't know if I want to, let me go back. All right, my feet. Keep my feet out of frame. Sorry. Also, you're going to be noticing I'm wearing pants in this setup, just because I don't want a upshot of some thigh. So that's for you, the viewer. Fat loss. I posted hours ago a new, like I just took the photo of my end of my recent cut. So in 2020, during quarantine, I realized I was a little thicker and carrying a little more body fat than I wanted to. I used to be someone, and it's rampant in the general bodybuilding style workout fitness community, that bigger is better. Like, it doesn't matter. I weigh this much, so I'm just a big guy. And I used to be that kind of person in my younger 20s. I've always been someone more of like I believe an endomorph, mesomorph kind of in there, that I was able to retain a lot of body mass from what I ate, maybe slow metabolism, just for whatever reason. Everybody's different of how they expend calories, how they burn specific foods. Everybody's just different. When I was a freshman in high school, I remember I was about 5'8", 5'9", 165 pounds. And I've got friends that are full-grown adults my age and still hover around that same weight. So I've always been a heavier guy. Husky section of school clothes growing up. Got a bigger waist and thick legs. So, clothing has come a long way with the athleisure wear and the stretchy materials. Thank God. But back then, it was husky for me. And nutrition just wasn't really a thought. It was just, I want to be big. I'm taking things like quick mass. I've never, ever, ever used any sort of illicit or illegal drug to aid with performance or body fat burning or anything. Everything's over the counter. I am affiliate of First Form. And talk about supplementation. In 2007, when I got recruited to play baseball, NCAA came in, and I wrote this on my supplement. Like, go check out if you want to know what supplements I have and why I take First Form. I'm going to talk about it right here. Is NCAA came in, they're talking about drug testing, and people were getting popped by over-the-counter stuff that you just bought at GNC. Like, NO Explode was found to have some crap in it, and athletes were testing positive. So from 2007 to 2009, I took nothing, no supplements whatsoever. In that time period, I also had gotten injured a couple times, wasn't eating well. So why the hell would I be taking supplements anyway? And 2009, First Form started in St. Louis, Missouri, where I am mostly raised and where I was going to school. And Andy Frisella came out and was saying, hey, we're going to have a FDA-rated facility. We're going to go through all these processes. We're going to be super transparent. And what we say is in our stuff, and we're going to have the most quality ingredients. So I was like, hey, that's what I'm going to start using it. So I've been using First Form for, since 2009, 12 years or so, on and off, trying different brands and stuff, just trying to find whatever works for me. But that's as far as it goes with supplementation. But I was taking a lot of stuff like Quick Mass, which is not First Form, it's a different one, and just trying to get big. It was like, I want to have a six-pack abs, but I also want to have all this muscle. And I was too dumb at the time to understand, and even too dumb a few years ago. And I got to tell you, I studied biochemistry. I should know about caloric deficits and energy expenditure and all this stuff, but just nothing really clicked. Like, you have the instruction manual, but you don't, how would I equate it? It would be it's like learning math equations and never understanding how they're applied. Like, you're always wondering in class, when am I ever going to use this? Well, now I'm using my biochem degree to focus on this channel and deliver some information as best as I can possibly can and just get rid of the bullshit. So like I learned the mechanisms. I took cellular biology. I took like all this stuff and understanding how different vitamins and minerals are uptaken in the body. But my dumb ass was too stupid to understand that you can't build muscle and burn fat at the same time. It's just not possible. You've got these body fat reserves on your body that come into play when you're in a caloric deficit, and then your body's going to either burn muscle or burn this fat to get you to the energy level that you need. And safely 500 calories, 3,500 calories per pound roughly. So if you're in a caloric deficit, you're roughly losing a healthy 1 pound per week. And that never really clicked to me until during quarantine. The woman I was dating at the time was a health coach, and she just guided me through this stuff. And I cut, in my first cut, I would say I probably started around 220 plus, 18% body fat. Like I wasn't fat by any means, but if I take a DEXA scan or I take an in-body scan or anything, all the fat is in the midsection, love handle, like nothing else really anywhere else on my body. And you can't target fat on your body either. Your body's going to use it when it needs it, and it's going to go to it wherever it's at. So really cut down, really focused, worked my way down to a healthy weight, taking no supplementation at the time besides pre-workout, some essential I was taking branched chain amino acids at the time, which I've since changed to essential because of research. But that was it. No extra supplementation for promoting body fat burning. And yeah, I got from 220 plus, 18% body fat down to 13%, 183, and was lean. But all my, I lost muscle. So then I bounced back and I built back up to over 220 at 14% body fat, and then cut again. And I'm sitting right now at about 200 pounds, 10% body fat, and I feel phenomenal. But now it is time to bounce back up. So moral of the story is that just caloric deficit. And I don't restrict like what I eat either. I mean, I hit macros. I do more intuitive eating now than actually tracking, because I've just tracked for so long that I can kind of look at something and I eat pretty much the same damn thing all the time and understand how much I'm eating. I'm going to be a little more vigilant about tracking as I bulk back up, because if you bulk too much, you get too much fat, and then becomes a real danger of just getting fat again. Because like no matter how healthy you eat, like if you just ate pure chicken breasts, but you were in a severe caloric surplus, you're going to get fat. Like that's just how it works. You just because you eat what you deem to be organic and healthy and lean doesn't mean that you're not going to get fat. So it's just being in a caloric deficit and being very patient with the whole process, but also rewarding yourself when needed, not avoiding any sort of cheat meals that you may want. You're not going to eat ice cream every night, but once a week is fine. And if you're tracking your macros and it fits in there, it could even sometimes be considered not a cheat meal if it fits your macros. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that, IIFYM. But yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. I don't follow any sort of specific diet either. I've done carnivore. I've done keto. Yeah, I've done carnivore. If you're going, I just ate pure meat, and I felt fine on that. But my performance suffered because I need a lot of carbohydrates to do the workouts that I like to do. And all around, I just feel better. It's just a well-balanced, nothing special about my diet, just the most carbs. The next is protein, and then limit fats where I can. But that's it. Now, I will talk about this second time around. I did add in some supplementation. There's a couple things that I had read and heard have clinically proven benefits to kind of swayed the body to burn and promote the fatty acid transport from your body into the mitochondria of your cells, which are the powerhouse of the cells. If you remember in grade school or the Magic School Bus, I think they covered it. Instead of targeting muscle for energy and burning that down. So yeah, I still lost muscle. Like even though I made a 575 pound deadlift for a PR, I'm not as strong as I think I could possibly be through the whole process. So But I do subjectively believe that the L-carnitine and the yerba mate, which is just a tea, I would 100% buy. I think I would 100% buy it mixed in with something because it tastes like dirt. It tastes like leaves. It's just a tea that I was forcing myself to drink and just chugging it. But there are some delicious drinks that I saw that now use it. I think one's called Clean. I've seen it at the Central Market here. I've seen it. My gym has it, and I noticed. I was like, oh my god, that's got yerba mate, YERBAMATTE, and then L-carnitine. So supplement timing, L-carnitine I would take in the morning and I would take it at night. I won't take it at all. There are some things that may have adverse effects if you take it too much. So, I mean, that's kind of similar to any supplementation that I cycle on and cycle off of. So I'm coming off. I'm not going to take any of this stuff anymore as I'm going back to a bulk. But I think it worked. Now with L-carnitine, there's kind of some back and forth of whether or not oral supplementation has any efficacy whatsoever. The YouTube channel More Plates, More Dates, the guy Derek, he's not a believer in it, of oral L-carnitine. I think he does injectable L-carnitine. I think there's reasons about being broken down in the liver and just having no effect of your fat burning. Subjectively, I don't know that to be the case. There are studies that show that it does, and I will go more in depth in a supplement series, citing the studies, going over the biomechanisms about what it does or what it's claimed to do. Here is just a general discussion. I don't have any way to test my body to know this did this or this did that. So subjectively, I believe that it worked. If you want to know exactly what I took, it's the first form L-carnitine. Most of my supplements are going to be first form. There's a link below that's going to, like, I'll send you to the exact supplementation that I take daily. Because I don't like to overdo it on supplements. I like to take anything that has clinically proven benefits of this will work or this won't work. And I don't like to waste because you can just go way overboard and start taking a bunch of crap that is, to me, is voodoo medicine. And I mean, quite honestly, like, that doesn't put any supplement company that I've ever used, like, under that thing, like under that scrutiny. Like, I'll tell you, like, there's some training that First Form does that I don't completely agree with. They had something about branched chain amino acids and how effective they are in the body, and I have found nothing but adverse literature against that. And I reached out, and they're like, okay, we'll look into it. This stuff kind of just changes all the time, so no fault to them. I just want to know that there's good information being put out there. But that's with any supplement company. And again, like, people react differently on different things. So just because I find something not to be as effective doesn't mean that someone else won't find it and their body needs it more or less. That was another reason too, like taking a nutrient panel, micronutrient panel, getting your blood test done and seeing exactly what you're deficient in, and getting those supplements in me. Because some of the stuff I take, like vitamin C or vitamin D, are very specific to my needs and the result of a discussion with a physician and taking my blood panel. Now, I had mentioned that, like, I'm never going to take anything at all, whatever. There is one supplement I want to talk about called turkesterone, TURKESTERONE, that I'm very interested in, but it is like impossible to get your hands on right now. Apparently this has some performance and just overall physical benefits related to some of the banned performance enhancing drugs, but this is supposed to be a natural herb and it has no adverse side effects. I'm very interested to look into it, into the research, and understand it more. And if it's something that could be very beneficial to the body and overall performance, I may look into it. I'm not going to ever inject anything into me, or I'm very, very cautious about how my body reacts to anything. And if that's something that is not known to have any adverse effects and is a legal supplement, you can buy it online, then I would be interested in looking into it and figuring out what exactly it does and stuff, just because I'm all about enhancing performance and longevity and seeing what we can do in our body, not to shortcut, but to help. and that's it. Progress, and there's always something to do. Like, yeah, I hit my body fat goal this time around, but I'm just going to keep yo-yoing up and down, building more muscle, losing more fat until I want about like 210 pounds of lean muscle. I just want to be an absolute animal and work on my weaknesses, build muscle where I can and need it. My upper body is weak compared to my lower body. And then also, like, I'm looking at like starting to do maybe, I'm 32 years old. I'm not a young competitor, but it looks fun to do some of these competitions and push yourself and just have a good time. So be looking forward to that, upping my running, and again, to wrap this up, appreciate everyone that donated to the Flatwater Foundation. I was able to do the raffle early because everyone so thankfully just put the money forward, raised a decent amount. My gym's about $4,000 from their goal, but the people that donated to me, we made a good chunk of that, of the $20,000 goal. Did the Whoop raffle. I just love the Whoop so much. It's changed my life so much and has made me all around a healthier and more physically able individual. And the two people that won are new to the platform, so I'm super excited to get their feedback as they use it and it evolves their lives. And I know that they're going to get another one, I believe, for their significant others. So they're both, because they're two married people had won, individual married people. So now they get to get one and save money, and they also donated to a good cause. So I can't wait to do more stuff like that. I'm also looking at maybe getting some hats done, some merch stuff, because I started my Whoop group. If you haven't joined, let me see if I can pull up the code real quick. Let me look in here. I'm 17th right now. My strain's so far down. We got 19 people in the Whoop group. Code is COMM-ECD935. That's COMM-ECD935. I'm going to start rewarding people, like looking at the monthly statistics and handing out some merch and stuff. And I mean, I think I got a pretty cool logo, and I think it's going to look good on hats and stuff. And just kind of doing something similar, like kind of get inspired by what the Buttery Bros do. They've got like so many people in their groups, and they give away stuff. So that's, I'm not made of money over here. This channel isn't a big thing. We're closing in on 5,000 subscribers. I can't wait to hit that. Can't believe it's going to be done in a year, but I'll do what I can to give back. I want to inspire people. I mean, I don't want to directly inspire people. Like I want to live my life, and I want you to be inspired by maybe something that I'm doing. But amazing, growing an awesome community here, and I do want to give back. So that wraps up this episode. If you have any questions about like fat loss and stuff, just let me know. Supplement series is going to be coming out. Talk more about fat loss, talk more about bulking and what I'm doing for that. And I am excited for the future of this channel. I will see you in the next one.